Hi, I'm Justin Phillips, a Senior Director at Mosaic Corporation, here to present a safety moment for you on hidden hazards at your facility. In this safety moment, we will discuss some common hazards at chemical facilities, why these hazards can sometimes be hidden, and what you can do to protect your employees and facilities from them. As you walk around your facility, you probably see signs everywhere that warn you about potential hazards. There are labels on hazardous chemical drums and storage tanks, warning signs about piping or vessels being hot, labels to tell you the chemical name, hazards associated with that chemical, the direction of flow in piping, warning signs for high voltage, or caution signs for radioactive materials. All of these signs help you to recognize and manage the inherent hazards around you. When these signs are missing, or there's no available information to tell you about the hazards surrounding you or the people that you work with, this can lead to injuries, fires, or even catastrophic events. It may not be obvious if a pipe is full or empty, nor if it's pressurized or unpressurized by looking at it. Equipment may have stored energy that is not obvious, or vessels may contain hazardous materials that are not labeled. For example, at one chemical facility that was in the process of being decommissioned, dismantled, taken apart, an unmarked and undocumented part of piping run was taken apart. The employee taking apart the piping did not know that it contained sulfuric acid and was injured by the strong acid. So what can you do to protect your employees, assets, people that you work with every day from these unknown hazards that may be present at your facilities? Generally, you need to train your employees to treat any unknown hazard as if the worst-case situation is present until additional information can be obtained. You can only manage hazards that you can see or recognize from established documentation such as procedures, permits, labels. Therefore, the hazards at your facility need to be identified, understood, and documented with established systems by following OSHA standards in order to manage your employee safety. Understanding the hazards is especially important when pipes or vessels are going to be opened or dismantled. When you're going to do maintenance on them, your employees need to understand the dangers of the chemical in the piping or in the vessel, the current conditions such as pressure, temperature, the potential for any stored energy, and any other risk before proceeding. If the hazards are not understood and managed, the work can be extremely dangerous. So, what actions can you take to manage the hazards at your facility? First, you should understand your process and what chemicals are present in each piece of equipment and piping with proper labeling. For reactive systems, the chemical composition and conditions inside of a reactor could change over time. You should verify that the piping and equipment labels are accurate, clearly visible, and readable. Labels often fade outside or if they're near harsh environments, like the ocean, so check them periodically and replace them if you need to. Secondly, you should ensure that a thorough review is done using your Management of Change or MOC process. This means that when your equipment is modified, the chemical within the equipment changes, or your process changes, the MOC process is followed. This process should consider the technical basis of the change, the impact on safety and health, required modifications to operating procedures and other documents, like pressure relief systems documentation, the schedule required for the change, approvals that are required, and any training necessary for employees and contractors to get familiar with whatever change is taking place. Finally, when piping or vessels are going to be opened or dismantled, the proper work permits should be utilized and diligently completed to ensure that the activity is finished safely. Line breaking, vessel opening, lockout, tagout, also known as control of hazardous energy, will often require permitting. In addition, permits for confined space entry, hot work, and working at heights may also be required. Thoroughly completing these permits will provide a great deal of information about the possible hazards of the intended work and how to manage those hazards. If there's an unresolved issue that occurs while completing those permits, then you should require that the permit approver stop, seek additional input, and information before proceeding. Work should not begin until all issues have been resolved and the permits are approved by a trained and qualified permit issuer. For additional examples of incidents that were caused by poor permit practices, you can reference the June 2018 Process Safety Beacon, which is entitled Safe Work Permits. Understand the scope of work. The Process Safety Beacon is a monthly newsletter that is provided free of charge by the Center for Chemical Process Safety. It provides brief process safety topics that can help you to identify and eliminate or mitigate hazards at your facilities. In summary, the hazards that are known within your facility should be easily identifiable by employees and contractors with posted signs and labels. There may be other hazards that aren't as evident but still need to be understood, documented, and managed. As chemicals, processes, or equipment change, your MOC process should be utilized to understand and manage those changes. As equipment and piping are opened or dismantled, you should use established work permits such as line breaking, vessel opening, and lockout tagout to review the hazards and ensure that they are understood and being managed appropriately. Qualified and trained permit issuers should review the intended work site and the safety precautions that are in place before approving the permit and allowing that work to begin. Hazard identification is the first step for process safety at your facility, and following these OSHA standards will help protect your employees and assets from any hidden hazards. This safety moment has been brought to you by Process Safety TV. Are you interested in creating your own PStv channel to be displayed in lobby areas? Or would you like to learn more about our different PStv channels? If you are interested in having access to our safety moments and PStv, do not hesitate to contact us at sales@iamosaic.com. We will be very happy to help you.